Nicole Nava, Nichole Nava, and I work for Butte County in social services for 24 years.
Oh, wow. So what made you want to make that transition to running for city council?
Well, I'm still going to work doing what I do, but I want to make the transition because I am passionate about Chico and improving Chico, and I really look forward to implementing some ideas and things I've heard from the community and that I've been working on for some years that I think would benefit and help bring people together and make this an even better place to live.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about, some of the major issues in Chico. For example, homelessness is a big issue.
Yes, it is.
I've talked to candidates on homelessness, talking about, just getting them off the streets, working them into shelters.
Right.
What's your approach?
So my approach is compassion coupled with the accountability, because the problem is, as you can see the park behind me, I don't think this is an appropriate place to just post up a tent and then not get connected to services, and it would be too easy to do that with people bringing things here and keeping them in their space. What I'd like to see happen is that we encourage them to go into the shelters that are available using some different approaches that I haven't seen used yet, to encourage that they start embracing a healthy lifestyle, because we have case managers there. They can get their physical health checked. They have care for their pets, 3 hots and a cot, and all of those things you could ever hope to have. So I think it's important that we take a humane approach, but that we're real about it isn't healthy to be floundering outside in the elements.
Yeah, so tell me a little bit about, your relationship to the drought, what you know about, how Chico and Butte County is dealing with drought.
Yeah.
What you would do as part of city council.
Well, I think living in Chico, we're all kind of accustomed to, we go through these waves of drought. When I came here in the 70s, in fact, we were in a huge situation with a drought and all had to go on restrictions. We are currently under one here where we each get to water 2 days a week. It is impactful, and there are concerns from people about capacity and ability to put up more housing when we are currently under restriction ourselves. And so there's a lot of dialogue about that. My position is always that we as humans could do better to conserve. So there's a lot of programs available to make our houses as efficient as possible in that regard and to be preserving with low flow and other things like that. There are things we could be doing to help keep the quality better too of what we are using, so that we don't have to draw down from other sources. And that means like keeping the creeks and rivers and things as clean as possible and using practices that help with that. So, and then there's also like innovative, mechanisms and things people have really landed on that could help. And even there's tribal things that people do with times of scarcity that we could consult with experts there too, to kind of land on a solution that we can all live with that is effective.
Yeah, and also, agriculture with a lot of agriculture, almonds, things like that being the lifeblood of Chico.
100%.
How would you, make sure that, agriculture and it is not as impacted by the drought? Obviously, you can't make it.
Right. I can't. I love to dance. You never know what I could do with that. But no, I can. What I would do, like I said, is I would lean into the experts. There's been a lot of talk about, do we need additional storage facilities? Other people say, no, we have adequate. We're just allowing things to go running off into the ocean that we could have preserved had we taken appropriate measures. So there are wells running dry. That was a very real impact. And when you've got people that are bringing us literally the food that we eat, we have to do something. We cannot let this happen. I've heard that there are a lot of farmers and ranchers who are not going to do their crops and livestock the next season as they normally would, as aggressively. They're going to downsize things or just skip a crop year. That's not good for any of us. It's going to drive up costs, right? So we've got to get going on these things together, bringing the experts in the room, and that can include naturalists doing different things. There's things about the earth that we can do to do better soil treatment and all of these things that can help us with also the water situation, because it's about optimal growth, preservation of our environment. The downstream runoff, that is detrimental as well to the ag culture. So I would definitely get all the experts together and kind of rally troops and really do an effective measurement of, do we have enough water storage? You're asking the water experts, which are the entities that do that for us, and you're asking people what capacity do we need to hit that optimal level where you will provide us with the food that we need and livestock to keep things going. And I think there's ways we can all get there.
Do you have any endorsements at all, or people that are backing you, or communities that support you?
Absolutely, I do. So I am blessed enough to have been endorsed by the Chico Police Officers Association, the Firefighters Association here, PORAC, which is a peace officer statewide association. I'm proud that my Teamsters Union endorses me, and to me, it was what is common about all of that is that labor, workforce type support and public safety, because that's something that I am passionate about. I feel like you're getting to stand here today in what we call our jewel of Chico and the Northstate. It's beautiful. And you're seeing something that wasn't quite like this a while back. There were a lot of tents and debris everywhere, and there's micro trash. So those endorsements mean a lot to me, because that means they know I've been a good steward and that I plan on continuing that work. So yeah, those are the people. And then as far as the community itself, I was encouraged to run by many, many community members. I actually had skipped a cycle, and then people kept saying, you know, you are just doing the work. You might as well run and be an effective part of that change. And I really agree with them. So I'm pleased to be moving forward with this.
Yeah, how are you able to develop your relationship with some of our, first responders and
yeah, that's a great question. So I actually have been doing, like I said, this type of thing for, now it's actually more like 6 years. I'm just used to saying 5 years. But I've had to meet with the various department heads to talk about the various challenges that have happened. So when they started having issues with being able to enforce, or we would see things happening in some of the neighborhoods, I would ask for a meeting with the chief or with his captains at the time and try to go over, well, what are some effective strategies? How can we as a community help partner with you to do that community policing model, right? And the same with the fire department. We were having nightly fires and literally propane tanks exploding, such. So I would get with the fire department chief and some other staff as well and ask, okay, what is the law? What can we do? What can we not do? How can we help you? There's also other tools that we helped with them. We would say, can we sponsor some things that will help move the ball forward? Drones are a perfect example. It keeps everyone safe. That helps the community and the police be able to ascertain whether the situation is safe for anybody to be around. And so those are some preventative measures we can take. So I think things like that have gained me the trust of these individuals to know I really am looking out for their workforce, being able to keep us safe as a public, and for the public to all be treated equally, no matter your status.
Yeah, just pulling up some of the questions here.
Sure.
So what are 3 things you want voters to know about you? You can step just a little to
this way. Well, I would say that is a hard one. I'm not quite remembering exactly what I said about the 3, other than I know I really am experienced. I bring a lot of that to the table with a quarter century in social services, 6 years in housing, including low income, and I have a 4-year business management degree. The city of Chico is a business. So what I would want the voters to understand is you need someone who can hit the ground running, because I have that rapport with those department heads. I understand Chico. I've been here since '76, and so I will listen, I will validate you, I will pull in facts, weigh data, and listen to what the feedback was and try to land on the solution as a peer group on council, what would be best to move Chico forward. I would say I'm passionate and an advocate. And so what that means is I am always attuned to what are the burning priorities, and I'm solution-based. So I would like people to know I'm not into the blame game and looking back. I'm into looking forward and how can we all come together and get unified, and how can we actually start solutioning some of the biggest issues we have in Chico.
Awesome. So what would be your priorities if you were elected?
Okay, so first up to me is we have failing infrastructure. I understand that deferred maintenance was occurring to help offset a very difficult financial situation the city found itself in. So they worked really hard at getting our reserves built back up. But to me, You need to always be taking care of the maintenance, because now we are in critical failures. And so that's happening with our sewer lines. It's happening with our roadways. So when I get in there, the very first thing I'd like to do is hope that we land on the revenue plan of the tax measure passing. So that's measure H. But I didn't want to have all the eggs in that basket. So I also have some other plans for pumping up revenue. And I believe that the very first thing should be take care of the roads. I believe that we need a fire station number 6 north of Chico. If you know anything about what's going on here, we got a lot of housing that will be coming online. A lot of that has been going in the North Chico area, and we are weak with response time. If we are to keep expanding over there, which we are, that means we need to supplement and get a house nearer to them so that the response time is cut. I would like to see us take care of affordable housing as far as launching a first-time homebuyers program and trying to see what we could do to advocate, not necessarily fund, but advocate for homelessness solutions and some other things. And I have ideas there too that I think would be effective.